back in 2014. True Freeman copied it. It's an excerpt of the one that I did back in 2014. I was very upset when I did it. I wanted to put a face, an image, to what has been done. So I want to make clear that these, the live young men are with me. They're with me today. They're here. So when I talk about things being taken or hijacked or them sprinted off down to Spencer County, Indiana, that is the identities. The government issued Social Security numbers were used in fraud. And how they did that here locally in part is there's a traffic court division and there were traffic tickets written and they're traded in bonds. They turn into warrants and they're traded under municipal bonds, etc., etc. The replevin, bid, and performance bonds. And there is a warrant mill going on here. There's also a judicial mill going on. And he's out of Wayne County, Michigan. That's where the IRS criminal warrant database is housed. What I found was the product of various crooks accessing that. So I didn't find the database itself. I found the product of where they had accessed it. That's according to IRS Special Agent in Ogden, Utah, who informed me that the youngest grandson, who is known by Cameron, had 97 warrants under his social. 47 to 49 were felonies. And I had to wonder, what were they using those warrants for? Well, they hijacked his identity when she purchased a home. This happens with any purchase when you release tax information. So it's part of the buy, sell, buy of Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. And that is exactly what's going on in this country and has been since the year 2000. So it's very specific. I know how they're doing it. I followed the paperwork. I've done my due diligence, did my homework, read all briefs. I read briefs when they come from the courts. I read them. Even if there's an attorney involved, I read them. I look for changes in names, the misspelling of names. There is a system at work here, folks. And do not think for a minute that those names being misspelled are a mistake. They are not. It's part of a corrupt system. So the system is now running the government employees, the elected officials, the public officials. They're elected. And then also the judicial officers or the officers, because many of these public officials wear different hats. They're trapped in a system and they have to figure it out on their own, how they get out of it. I'm telling you that when I've seen a few attorneys, more than a few, and Andy Ostrowski talked about it last night on his radio show. He said that there's about 12 throughout the United States that have basically been disbarred for going up against the system that they now deem as corrupt. So the system's running these people now, and they're using it in a mill, and it's ran by the State Administrative Court Services under the juvenile system in particular. That's a fact. So when I talk about what's in this video, this recording, I'm just showing the image. So the image is what I'm talking about, and they have actually hijacked identities. So unfortunately, there are children who are taken under these various identities, and they're never going to know. Immigration attorneys would know about this. Ex-police officers would know about this system, and they're quite well set up if they decide to become an attorney to actually work within this system, and it becomes very lucrative. It's called cash for custody.
This is the oldest one that's been taken to Spencer County, Indiana, and had his name changed. And this is the younger one who has 97 warrants under his name. And of course, that's my daughter. And that's the year that they bought the house, and that's when these thieves, crooks, did this to my children and my grandchildren. So you boys, because I'm going to share this video, you boys are going to jail, you ladies are going to jail, and if I